So I guess I'll just read some poems. And let's see, what I'll do is I'll just read a few poems from my first collection, Translating Mom, and then I'll read some from Dan Sand's Revolution. Zoo. Ka, the fishy consonant. Na, the monkey vowel. Ta, the immigrant's tongue as shrill or guttural. Overture of my voice like the flash of bats, the hyena babble in apish libretto. Piscine skin, unblinking eyes, sideshow invites foreigner with the animal hide. Avialar t, sibilant s, and glottal h. Sheep, poem. Gutchy, magpie, a, child. Words with an atavistic tail, history's thorax considerably cracked. The Hottentot clique called undeveloped. Mother and father obsessed with hygiene as if to rid themselves of their old third world smell. Labial ps and palatal tis. La, the word ma, speaks pa without you. I dreamed a Korean verse of past conversation with mother when they said I was blathering unintelligibly in my sleep. The mute girl with a baboon's face unlearned her vowels and cycled across a rugged phonetic map. Sa, glossary, ah, din, cha, impossible word. Macaws turned into camouflage moths, the sky was overcast, the ocean a slate gray along the wolf-hued sand. I dived into the ocean, swam across channels to islands without flags, replaced the jingoist linotype with my yellowing canines, and shrilled against the anemic angel who cradled the bells that dictated time and lucid breath. Helix. It was a spring when geneticists stole milk bottles from the stoops of brownstones owned by art docents who waved their arthritic fists when they saw those lab-coated Robin Hoods scamper off with their precious dairy. The bottles were used to house mutant fruit flies, those beloved atoms of behavior. It was a spring of many mutations. I was sent outside the classroom for lack of behavior, sent back in for good behavior, and sent back out again. On the way in, I met half a Siamese twin who asked, "And who?" On the way out, I met the other half who replied, "Are you?" Lactose intolerant, I said, and we all bonded ionically like salt. Many-limbed children played in the park, tulips were double-jointed. What was my fate? A Harvard graduate investment banker whose parents owned a glassed-in liquor store in the Bronx gave me a palm reading. "Will your future the way I willed mine," he said. "That will be $10. We then haggled about the price as if we were in a swap meet and he was selling me a cheap brand name shirt that smelled of rayon and faintly, just oh so faintly, of fish. Scale. Tigers the size of caviar pounce through fiery hoops ignited by the flea-sized man. A girl jerks off in a mouse hole and a serf naps on a scrap heap of dirty fingernails. Diasporic curios, glass bells, boxes by Joseph Cornell, objects of dear privation. The homunculus escapes from anatomy class leaving a trail of detachable organs. The life-sized airplane is suspended from the ceiling and underneath, the blind molest the model. Alone in Europe, I shrank and darted around chapels and closed glass factories, and inflated when the Norwegian bartender offered me free beer, port wine, and his number. Shapes warped in memory. My cousin's chin tripled in size. Mother was a giant. The pastor was a bigger giant, and father was a shadow to mother's giant. Later, father became the giant, mother became his shadow, and we no longer believed in God. The author's bloodshot eye peered into the window of a dollhouse, and the doll died from fright. Culture inlaid with lapis lazuli set in a Victorian pendant, passed down until auctioned. In this chapter, mother lives in a glass box nestled in satin, father in a cedar cubbyhole, Korean characters like stiff phonetic Legos wait to join with one another, while St. Jerome writes with a single Irish quill in his painfully exact studio. Alright, so I'm going to read from my second collection. It's called Dance Dance Revolution. I stole the name from the video game. Hopefully I won't be sued by the video game. It doesn't really have anything to do with the video game. I did write one poem about Dance Dance Revolution, but then I ended up throwing out. I suck at the game, by the way. But it's about an invented city. It's simply called the desert, and there is a tour guide. All the hotel. It's made up of hotels that are modeled after capitals around the world, and there's a tour guide who speaks in an invented dialect. And the tour guide used to be a South Korean dissident, and she is the tour guide of the St. Petersburg Hotel. And it's in different voices, but most of the book is from her point of view. So I will try to approximate this voice. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I'm okay at it. We'll see tonight. But for you to get an idea, I'll just read a little bit of the foreword. Forward. Forward. I said that so assertively. In the desert, the language is an amalgam of some 300 languages and dialects imported into the city, a rapidly evolving lingua franca. The language, while borrowing the inner structures of English grammar, also borrows from existing and extinct English dialects. Here, new faces pour in, and civilian accents morph so quickly that their accents betray who they talk to that day, rather than their cultural roots. Fluency is also a matter of opinion. There is no tuning fork to one's twang. Still, dialects differ greatly depending on region. In the southern region, they debate whether they should even call their language English, since it has transformed so completely as to be rendered unrecognizable from its origin. As an example, I've included a brief conversation I overheard at the bar. 1. Dimple Miamin. Let me tell you about him. 2. Burbling from him. He said. 3. With bloody mouth. With his red mouth or bloody mouth. 4. Go on now, Shibat Pato. Leave, you homosexual son of a baboon. 5. So then he lived in clout. So then he punched him in the mouth. 6. Bar goons hoist him off exit. Security escorted him out of the bar. You will find that the customer at the bar speaks in a thicker brogue, while the tour guide interviewed for this book has a more expansive vocabulary. I suspect that in the guide's line of work she gathers slang, idioms, and argot from other tour guides and tourists, which does not explain her use of the Middle English. Overall, the desert is a planned city of renewed wonders, city of state-of-the-art hotels modeled after the world's greatest city, city whose decree is there is difference only in degree. The city is the center of elsewhere, but perhaps that is not accurate. As the world shrinks, elsewhere begins to disappear. So this is the tour guide's voice, and she's giving a tour of the St. Petersburg Hotel. Rolls. Opal, opus. Behold, neon hibiscus bloom beacons. Town lotion Tanya billboard. Geolucent Virgil. Then eyes take over as talky Virgil. Want some tea? Some pelahu? My vocation, your vacation. I train my talk box to talk deep up, as the Americans say purdy. No goods, only phrases, better the phrase purdier, the experience. 20,000 guides here, but I'm number 1. Once Helsinkian arrive, I say, I guide, but Helsinkian yap, no, too many guides. Then I sleep outside, indoor, in wake, I say calmly, I guide. Helsinkians say, God damn it, yeah, okay, guide me.